Check, 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 check. Oh, please, don't you rock my boat, 'cause I don't want my boat to be right. Oh, please, don't you rock my boat. Oh, no, no, 'cause I don't want my boat to be right. I'm telling you just, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I like it like this. So keep this like this. And you should know by now. I like it. I like it like I like it. I like it like I like it. I like it like I like it like this. Yeah. Satisfy my soul. By my soul. Oh yeah. Satisfy my soul. Every little action satisfy my soul. It's a reaction. Satisfy my soul. Can't you see what you've done for me? Oh yeah, I'm happy inside all of the time. When we bend the new corner, I feel like a sweet six winner. When I meet you around the corner.
W-I-I W-I-I-F-T-B-P
Live from your studio. You're listening to Book of Dawn. With Dawn Milhouse.
Good morning. I just caught a whiff of it. Good morning. I know I asked for it, but that's okay. I'm going to take it. We sprayed Lysol in this mug. Good morning, sunshines. Good morning. Good morning, Nephew Ron.
Good morning, TT.
Good morning, Mary Q Angel. Hey, good morning, sunshines. It is a new dawn. Really, it's the same dawn, but it's a new day, and that's what they say. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, and guess what?
It's the same dawn. It's a new day.
That's right. And we're feeling good. Thank you for tuning in to the Book of Dawn every weekday, 9 a.m. Just weekdays. Yeah, just weekdays. I haven't pulled a weekend shift. Amen. I will soon, though, because that's when we're actually going to do the Behind the Brown Door. I am finishing up my proposal for the boss so that I can get it in so we can bring you some live music. You got to pay for that, though. Our first guest is going to be Maurice Mahon. I call him Mahone, but I call him Mahon. Yeah. And that was Sam Silk. Let me just remind you that Sam Silk, every midnight during February, he is doing the Midnight Hour. So you can log on to Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Sam Trump, and check out an hour of live music with Sam Trump every night or morning, technically night morning, 12 a.m. Sam Trump, the whole month of February. Listen, he takes requests and everything. It's actually crazy, crazy, crazy dope. I have to fall asleep on him, though, regularly because I have to get up and I can't have bags under my eyes, you know? Today is National Pizza Day. Ooh, pizza, pan. Favorite pizza place?
Italian Fiesta.
Favorite pizza place, Mary? She paused. She ain't got a favorite.
And for my hood people, Little Caesars.
That's what I said. Pizza, pan. Favorite
Holla,
pizza
holla.
place? You know what? Ironically, my favorite pizza is not at a pizza joint. My favorite pizza is at the Sit Down on East 53rd Street in Hyde Park. They have delicious pizza. It's a margarita style. It's thin. I can eat it guilt-free because this crust is so thin. I can smash the whole pizza and feel like I just ate like a regular meal. I will say this, though. If I had to go to, I don't like the Lou place. I don't want to put nobody's whole name out there, but I don't like the Lou joint. Where else would I like pizza? Oh, I like Paisanos. Is that the name of the one on the north side? Yeah, I like that one. I don't know if I like that because it's greasy and I'm tipsy, but I like it. Yeah. Hold on, y'all. This is Maurice Fitzgerald. He'll be up next. Hey, Reese. Oh, yeah. Click it on now. This is our Behind the Brown Door guest, which making sure we're clicking in and linking in. Yeah, click in, and then I'll bring you in, okay? Okay, you combed your hair and brushed your teeth and everything, right? You know people going to see you, right? Okay, all right. See you in a minute. That's Maurice Fitzgerald, y'all. If you know anything about live music in Chicago, you know we got the coldest musicians and singers, right? Maurice Fitzgerald is going to be live with us this morning. Maurice has quite the resume. He has played with Destiny's Child. He is the traveling bass man for the Isley Brothers for many years, been all over the world, and we're going to talk to him about the value of the bass. If you really know music, nephew, you got to know the value of the bass in any music. The bass is a crucial element. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, you said that like you don't know, and like you don't trust me. Happy birthday, Candace Tillman. Happy birthday, Twyler Jenkins. Happy birthday, my auntie Murdis. Happy birthday, Amir Sealy. You might be too young to remember Malik Sealy. Great basketball player, NBA player, died in a car accident in Minnesota many years ago, was hit by a drunk driver, and it's his birthday, yes. Michael B. Jordan. With his little fine self. Lord have mercy. Word of the day is hilarious. I had a whole different word of the day, but I saw this. Me and Mr. Milhouse were eating dinner last night, and I saw this, and I was like, I saw this on Ellen DeGeneres. And I was like, I'm changing the word. I'm using that word. The word of the day today is weenus. We were talking about penises yesterday, so I figured weenus sounded better. You can spell it three ways: W-E-E-N-U-S, W-E-E-N-I-S, or W-E-N-I-S. It's weenus. It's a slang word used, get this, stick with me. You can tell your doctor this. It's a slang word used for the excess or loose skin at the joint of your elbow. Who knew?
That's the skin that don't hurt when you pinch it.
Yeah, because you can, you can't, don't catch me off guard like that. Technically, it's referred to as remember when I hit my elbow and my sister told me what it was? I was saying the word wrong, and I was like, my olecranon. Do you remember that day? I was like, oh, I bumped my.
What is it called?
And I said, it's called my sister's watching, so I don't want to say it wrong, but I'm just going to say weenus. So this skin right here, that's your weenus. Ladies, you have a weenus too. We all have a weenus, okay? Just had to make sure, I share that with the people. You have to inform the people. I missed my Black History fact yesterday, so I'm going to give you 2 today. I'll start with one right now. Born on July 12, 1937, in Philly, Bill Cosby. He dropped out of college to pursue a career in stand-up comedy after touring extensively and landing a spot on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Jeez, I remember that show. In 1963, Cosby took his comedy to albums, where he won 7 consecutive Grammys for his work between 1964 and 1971. When he moved to television, he became the first Black man to star in a lead role in the NBC's 1965 special agent adventure series, I Spy. According to biography, Cosby then struck critical ratings gold with his depiction of an affluent Black family in the 80s that we all know is The Cosby Show, amassing a fortune in TV and commercials while projecting a wholesome persona and serving as a positive role model to generations of fans. All the other stuff about him, we ain't even going to talk about, okay? Duly noted, he was the first.
Wasn't he a part of like creating the first Black superhero?
I don't know.
Something like that.
I don't know. That didn't come up in my
Like a Black cartoon.
Black history fact knowledge, but that would be good to know. So listen, 7 Grammys, the first Black man to star in a TV show. That's huge. In 1965, that was yet a thought in my mother's mind. Maybe 3 months later I was, though, because I sure popped out. Y'all know it's my Super Bowl birthday year, right? Double nickel. I got the double down. You know, when you hit the card table, you get 2 jacks, you double down. You can win twice. It's my birthday already. I'm celebrating starting. I'll wait until after. You know what? I'll just do it on time. I got a daughter whose birthday's in March, and then a baby graduating in April. So I probably just have to do my birthday on time. Hey, did I tell y'all something else? Can I tell you something else? Thank you. I appreciate you letting me into your homes and your workspaces and on your phones every day at 9 o'clock in the morning. What would y'all do without me? Oh, no. But we won't find out. Good morning, Herb. We're going to take a quick break because my boss, nephew, and my boss, niecey, got me on time constraints and stuff. They bossing. And I got to give you your flash drive before I forget, because then I don't want to get in trouble with you and him at the same time. This is the Book of Dawn. Tell your friends, Maurice Fitzgerald is coming up next. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Book of Dawn. You're watching, you're listening to, you cheating, you're doing something. But whatever it is, do it with me. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
If I gave you my love, I tell you what I do. I'd expect a whole lot of love out of you. You got to treat me good, and I'll be good to you. There's a whole lot of things you and I could do, baby. Beautiful when you get right down to it, yeah. You're beautiful, and I wouldn't change one thing about you, yeah. Oh, 'cause you're beautiful. I don't mind telling the world about you, yeah. You're beautiful. And what about the way you love me? And the way you squeeze me. Simply beautiful. You're beautiful. When you needed me, yeah, I was right there by your side. Simply beautiful. You're beautiful. I wouldn't change nothing about you, yeah. 'Cause you're beautiful. Yeah. When you get right down to it, yeah.
I'm beautiful. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There now, y'all in my living room. Okay, y'all in my space. Welcome back. You're tuned into the Book of Dawn, broadcasting live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. Listen, Candace Mack said, I love that song. I said, I'm trying to tell you, like, I feel some type of way when I hear that song. Grown. Like, every time I hear it, I feel like I need a cocktail and a stereo and an 8-track tape. I just had to say that. Good morning, Maurice Fitzgerald. Can you hear us?
I can. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, he sounded all professional and stuff. I got him up early today, y'all. Maurice Fitzgerald, better known to most of you as Mo Fitz, began playing his professional career at the age of 18. He has maintained his diverse professional career playing with contemporary jazz greats, Brian Culbertson, Ramsey Lewis. You may not have heard of those names because you lived under a rock. He's also played with greats like Donnie McClurkin, CeCe Winans, one of my favorite, Marcus Miller, Anthony Jackson, on and on and on, Steve Huff, Yolanda Adams, Fred Hammond, tap me when you don't recognize the name, Beyonce, Destiny's Child, John P. Key, the Clark sisters, the Isley brothers. You know any of those names? Just a few, right?
Golly.
Yeah, right. He said, golly. Maurice hails from Chicago's West Side, so it'll be interesting to see what stores he shops at, because I know he's actually probably never listened to me ask those questions, and so it'll be interesting to see if he's still from the West Side in real life. Maurice Fitzgerald, welcome to the Book of Dawn.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with this. I know the story. Will you share with our viewers the story of that moment that changed your life while you were in high school?
In high school, the moment that changed my life, you mean musically, like
Yes.
the thing that I remember joining the band at Marshall High School my freshman year. I came in as playing drums actually. Um, I was like, I want to be a drummer. That's what I'm gonna be. So I got in the drum section in high school, and I remember the summer came around, um, and we were on summer break, and I went to, I think I was with some family members. I went down to the Buckingham Fountain, and they had like a blues band playing outside, right outside the fountain at night. And this guy on bass was just phenomenal. I was just like watching this guy just play bass. It was a white guy playing a little four-string Fender Jazz. I was like, man, I really love that instrument. And then I remember my brother giving me like a gospel record of the late Reverend Bronson, and I was listening to the Tommies, and I heard Steve Huff, who's my boy. I heard him playing bass on these gospel records, and then I remember that summer playing basketball in the alley with my brothers, and I found a bass guitar that somebody was moving out. I guess they were throwing stuff away, and it was a guitar in the garbage can, and it was a bass, and it was cracked right at the headstock, so it was only two strings on this bass. I cleaned it up, I took it in the crib, and I remember trying to work out and practice on this bass guitar and learn how to play, and I started picking it up. And so when I went back to school my sophomore year, I was like, hey, I play bass now. They was like, yeah, right. I was like, check it out. And I plugged up and I'm playing tunes, and they're like, oh my God, this dude can play. That was one of the life changing moments for me. So from there, the story goes on, you know. But that was
And
the life changing moment right there.
which is pretty interesting as a young brother from an impoverished neighborhood with a two-string
Hmm.
guitar. That
Hmm.
might be a thing. Maybe you can create a two-string guitar to teach people like me. I only need two strings. Uh, now, from that, I know you aspired like many young brothers. You know,
Hmm.
basketball was your thing, but
Hmm.
from that, you got your first job, actually playing it outside of the school band with a fairly popular person then and now. Can you share with our viewers that experience?
So what happened was I got to my senior year in high school, and I was playing before I actually the career changing gig came around. I was with a local group, Pastor Dan Willis, who has a church right there on the south side. It was a white pastor who started an interracial choir with amongst the apostolic churches. So he went around to all the black churches and all the Hispanic churches, all the different people of different cultures, and put a choir together. And it was called the Pentecostals of Chicago. And
Okay.
they had signed a record deal with Ty Scott Records, which that was the label that John P. Key was signed to. So our first recording, well, the second recording, the first recording, Darius Brooks kicked me off the record. He wouldn't let me
Did
play.
he?
Yeah, he was like, "You're not good enough," and it broke my heart. And I remember going home crying, and my mom, God rest her soul, she said, "Baby, I'm gonna pray for you that your gift will make room for you, that you will be playing in front of great people. You will have a career in music that's beyond anything." And I remember being in my bedroom man on Jackson and Costner, and my mom praying for me, and I believed her. She told me to go to each rehearsal, even though I got kicked off the record, go to every rehearsal and absorb everything that those guys are doing. So I would take the bus to Oakland, go to this church, and I would sit through these rehearsals. And by doing that, Calvin Bridges end up letting me play one song on that record. So the next year around, to fast forward, the second record was coming on, and John P. Key was our special guest. I had got good enough where they let me play the entire record. John sat in the audience majority of the time until it was time for him to come up and sing. He had his whole choir in the back. And he came up, and when he walked up to the stage, he leaned over to the booth at Horace Smith Church and said, "Young man, you sound really good on the bass. I've been listening to you all night. Keep it up." I was like, wow, John B. Key said that to me. And that was that. He sang his song, he did his thing, and he went back to North Carolina. The week later, I get home from school. My mom said, "Hey, we got a message from John P. Key's office in North Carolina. His manager called and asking about you." I said, "What?" This was pre-cell phone, pre-texting, pre-internet.
You
They
still
had
had
to
a
call.
rotary dial at that point.
Yeah, my mama had a little calendar thing on the side of the phone, and she would write people numbers and leave messages. She would write it down. That's their number. Go. I wrote it right there on the paper, and I called his number back, and his manager answered the phone, and she said, "John Key really was impressed with you, and he wants you to come to North Carolina to play for New Life." Where it was his choir at the time. They were the biggest gospel. He was the biggest. He had
Right.
Jesus is Real. He was like the man. And I'm like, wow, he wants me to come down there. I took the $400 I made on that recording session and rode the Greyhound bus to North Carolina to meet them.
Wow.
And I did one rehearsal, and they put me on the bus, and we went straight to New York, and that's how my career started. From that instance, finding the bass in the alley, my mom praying for me, John P. Key coming to a recording session, hearing me, and that launched everything.
Well, I say often, I tell Mr. Milhouse this and my children and anybody that will listen, that what my revelation 2 years ago is that God is intentional. And when God, with God's intention and your purpose, that's when everything aligns. And so none of that was by mistake, but it was intentional. And you know, ain't nothing like a praying mother. And yes, your mother, may she rest in peace, was a praying lady, probably still praying for you, because you know you're a guy, and you know sometimes y'all a little hard in the head. And that's I digress. Maurice, I'm gonna jump off career for a little bit, because I would like for you to share, for people who don't know the difference in, you know, a bass guitar versus, you know, just the strumming guitar that you buy a little kid. What does the guitar, specifically the bass, mean to the music?
The bass is, I call it the coolest instrument in music, because it could be melodic driven, but at the same time, it's a rhythm instrument. So just like a drummer is important, the bass is just as important. It's the meat, it's the foundation that the melody sit on top of. Well, all of these chord changes and melody is going by, the bass and the drums are just kind of like this train carrying it all. So it's the meat and potatoes of the music. You know,
Yeah.
when you hear, you ever seen the sitcom Barney Miller? People like, oh man, that bass line, that's the bass.
Yeah.
You know, that's the voice. So the bass can have a voice too. It can carry melody that people will never forget. When you hear all of your favorite old school songs, from Forgive Me Nots to all of that stuff, Just Got Paid, the bass is carrying that. From My Girl, the bass is the intro, boom, boom, boom. That's the bass.
Doom, doom, yeah,
And,
we all
and
know
so
that.
and so, you know, it's like the guitar is the lead, it's the chord structure, it's the melody, but the bass is the foundation, it's the boom boom behind everything.
I think that's important to I've always loved music, but until I started working with you guys, I think I started being able to identify and pay attention to each instrument and know it, not just your usual suspects. You know, of course you know what a saxophone sounds like, but can you identify which sax? And when you work so closely with guys like you get to learn how important that back part is, which makes the music even better. So you go on the Greyhound bus. Lord, I remember Greyhound and Trailways. Amen.
Oh, it was so cold on that bus. I had no blanket. I was like, what is going on with this air conditioning on 50 below zero thing? Like, it's crazy.
Maurice, was that your first time out of Chicago?
I want to say no, it wasn't my first time out of Chicago. I mean, I had traveled with the church a couple of places, somewhere like, you know, local stuff, Indianapolis, Detroit, all that stuff like that. And then I was with Dan Willis. He went to a few places. But yeah, that wasn't my first time out of Chicago.
Okay. Now, from the John P. Key, you caught the attention of another sort of popular person. Uh, would you like to share that?
From John, it really spent off a lot of relationships with different artists. I mean, I remember getting the John thing and recording on a record with him, and then he was friends with Vanessa Bell Armstrong. He produced her record. I ended up playing for Vanessa Bell, and through that, I met Donald Lawrence through that situation because he had Tri City. He lived in North Carolina at the time. I spent the majority of my time there. So through that, Yolanda Adams, all the different artists that was in gospel music knew me from that gospel thing. And the biggest transition from John P. Key for me was with Fred. Fred Hammond was my idol. Like I was like commission fan. Fred sang, he played bass, and I was just like, dude, I idolize this cat. And I met Fred through that situation, and I ended up getting a call to tour with him, and he was the biggest at that time. And it was just like God kept putting me in a place to go with all these big name artists at the height of their career through that one situation. And from Fred, my good friend Rodney East, and it was I'm just skipping over things, but one of the biggest my transition from gospel to pop came through. First, it was with jazz. I met Ramsey Lewis and started playing with the Ramsey Lewis band. I actually recorded on 2 of the Urban Nights records. I was a principal member of Urban Nights. I'm on like one of the album covers, and I remember my mama saying, "Boy, I saw you in the paper with on when you would order CDs. I forgot the name of that magazine where you can order CDs. That's a club or something." And my picture was plastered as one of the principal members of Urban Nights, and she was like, "Wow, you done made it."
Right. I think I owe
like,
that
was
company
funny.
I think I owe that CD player some money still. I'm sure it's gone,
Everybody.
but I think I owe him some money.
It was crazy. I was on tour with Fred for like a whole year straight, and we were coming to the end of it, and I was like, "Ooh, I finally get to go home." And I got a call from Rodney East, and he had Michelle Williams on the phone from Destiny's Child, and he was like, hey man, I got Michelle on the line. There's a spot available for bass with Destiny's Child. They had just released Survivor and all of that stuff, and they were huge. He was like, "Are you interested?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, you're gonna have to be in LA in a week." So the last day of the tour, I flew straight to Los Angeles to go ahead and audition for the Destiny's Child gig. And I did the audition, and there was, cats in LA were very territorial. They was like not even trying to let me in that door. They already wanted to put their people in. But I had got the rubber stamp from I want to thank Kim Burse, who was the creative director for Beyonce and Destiny's Child for many years. She do all the Black Girls Rock, and she works with Jennifer Lopez. At the time, she was with her, and she said, "Maurice, I seen you on Kim Burrell's DVD. Oh, you're amazing. The girls love that DVD. You don't worry about the guys in LA. You got the job." And so I ended up getting the job, and it was quite next level. I had never flew on private jets and flew all over the country on that level. I had been everywhere, but when you go to that pop level, you talking about Wembley Stadium, and people is just all over as far as your eye could see. It was crazy. It was like next level. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, I really done made it now.
And you better say that. Listen,
And so
Maurice,
that's how I started.
Maurice, you started in church. You're self-taught. You started in church.
Mm-hmm.
How did you stay able to learn the different genres? So, I know all music has a bass line, and I mean that literally, and because you play bass, but the transition to pop or jazz.
Let me tell you something. I tell everybody, if you're a church musician, you can play every style of music.
Okay.
It's just gospel music is a gumbo of every genre. It's just how it is. It's like every major artist that you see, from Janet Jackson to Lionel Richie to everybody, all those musicians are from church. Adam Blackstone, that do the BET Awards, do all the major shows, Justin Timberlake, all that. He's a church boy.
Okay.
All of them are. So it's like being a church musician gives us a whole nother level than some of the guys who just went through school and learned how to play jazz and all that stuff, because we just kind of instinctively know how to adapt to styles. But on top of that, in my high school years, I was in high school, I was playing jazz. I mean, I was in the jazz band, I was reading music out of the fake book, and so I had experience from that from my band teacher, Mr. O'Banion and Mr. Harry Hunt at Marshall. They were like next level. Back in that day, I thank God that music was still in the schools back then, where you had real teachers teaching you how to play instruments and how to read music and how to be extremely versatile in your instrument. And I mean, I hate that that's went away in schools in the Black community, but that saved my life. I mean,
Yeah.
being in the Harvest community and gangs all around me, and everybody wasn't gonna make it to the league, and so it was like music was it for me. It was the thing that kept me solid, and it took me all over the world. So I'm just honored that that happened. So yeah, my training was beyond gospel. I would listen, and then my mom would play gospel music, and then my daddy rocked all the old school. So back in the day, he had me listening to Steely Dan, Parliament, Earth, Wind and Fire, all of that stuff. And then my mama would give me the Tremaine Hawkins and and all that stuff. She wanted me to play. So I was just kind of mixing it all up.
Now, Maurice, to your point, the loss of performing arts in schools, the loss of life skills, the home ec classes, when we were younger, you had the wood shop, you had the mechanical, you could learn how to
All that
survive,
stuff.
basically. And so that was, I just wanted to mention that again, because it is important. You give back, though. You spend time, well, pre-pandemic, going into the schools with the children and trying to make certain that you give back. Can you share with me why that is so important for you to?
I mean, it isn't. It is so important because I remember how I felt when we had a school assembly over in grammar school at Heffron Elementary, and they would have different, like if they brought in a musician, or they had this thing called Black on Black Love back in the day, and they would bring in musicians at times, and to see somebody playing an instrument at that age, I knew how that affected me, and I was like, wow, I want to be part of that world. It made me feel a certain way. And I remember Percy Beatty, who's an incredible gospel songwriter, and his brothers, we all went to Heffron. They were like upperclassmen. But I remember Percy would come back to Heffron, and to see him there, and if he would play at the assembly or play, I was like, wow. Just the feeling like, wow, I can escape in a life of music. It was incredible. And it's imperative that people go back and they give back to kids. I think that's the issue now. You got kids running around shooting at 15 years old.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any culture. They had nothing to sustain their mind mentally from their negativity.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't even, at 15 years old, walking around with a gun or trying to do something foul was beyond my understanding.
Right.
But it takes the school, it takes the community to put all those things back in school, or you can't put enough police on the corner to stop all the bad kids and crime. You just can't. But it starts with changing the community and changing the schools and changing the curriculum.
Yeah.
That's imperative.
Yeah, that you've got it. Yeah, you have to give them the culture. It's the culture piece that they that has really driven our community since forever.
Yep.
I mean, since before we were recognized in music, when they were using your music with a white face.
Right.
Maurice, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, I want to talk to you about, you mentioned the influence that Fred Hammond had on you. So I want to ask you about other influences in jazz, in pop. If there are is there anyone else that you really aspired to be like the way you did Fred? But we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and I hope you got 2 or 3 strings near you so the people can see you play.
Oh, Lord.
Look, yeah, so yeah, you got to move.
I got to play this morning.
You surely do. You surely do, just a little bit. But
okay.
We'll do that. We'll do that after we chit chat a little bit more.
Okay.
But I want to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us. This is Mo Fitz, y'all, from the Mo Fitz Project. West Side.
WIFTBPM.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
You gotta know that it's over. I gave all of me. My heart is empty. You promised you would change. You said forever, you and me. Look at what you've done to me. I'm torn apart. I'm picking up the pieces you left to me. How selfish could you be? I gave you the world, and you still couldn't be deep. I forgave you when you cheated. I guess it didn't mean a thing. No more excuses. I packed your bags, they at the door. 'Cause I'm through with you. Can't believe the things you put me through. I gave you all my love and then this what you do. Everything you did about the comeback, you gon' get this karma. Nothing karma. You end up losing everything you love. You about to get it. Every single dude from every single dude. You gon' get this karma. Ain't no escaping that. And everything you did is coming back. 'Cause payback's the dawn. Oh, you got to pay it back to me. Yeah, 'cause I didn't deserve it. It's a dog.
It's hard to work when the music is that good. That is Chicago's own Donnell Jones.
We
just-
needed that one. The fellas needed that one.
Man, whatever. You just tried to go. Yeah, Donnell Jones, free music. Go to Donnell's website, download it. I told you he just did that video 2 weeks ago. It's super dope. RL from Next was in it. What is it? Jacquees, who I didn't know who it was, and I'm texting my kids the pictures and they said, "Mama, what you doing with Jacquees?" I said, "Oh, that's his name." I didn't know who that dude was. But then apparently I had lived under a rock.
He's the self-proclaimed king of R&B.
I do. I heard. I heard. And then what's the other homie that was there? His name escapes me. Carl Thomas was in the video too. So George Daniels, of course, was in the building. And Donnell Jones' mother stole the show. She's the stepper. Welcome back. You are tuned in to the Book of Dawn. If you just now tuning in, we have Maurice Fitzgerald. Mo Fitz is what he is known by because he has a band called the Mo Fitz Project. Before I run out of time or forget to say this, I want to tell everybody this is Behind the Brown Door Tuesday. It's important for me to share the wealth of musicianship and talent in Chicago, all over the world, but specifically Chicago, because the Brown Door was created for Chicago, so we can have the rich history in one place. Maurice Fitzgerald was very instrumental in helping me create what everybody knows and loves as the Brown Door. We started, I think there were 10 people there, including the band and all the staff on the first night. And the